For nearly 2,000 years, Christianity thrived in Iraq. It survived empires, wars, and persecution. But in the 21st century, a new force emerged, one that sought to erase Christianity from its very birthplace. This is the story of how radical Islam destroyed the Christian presence in Iraq. Christianity arrived in Mesopotamia in the 1st century AD, brought by the Apostle Thomas and his disciples Addai and Mari. It became the heartland of the Church of the East, producing great scholars and theologians. For centuries, Christians built churches, monasteries, and schools, contributing to the culture and knowledge of Iraq. But this legacy would be targeted time and time again. In the 7th century, Islam arrived in Iraq. Under Islamic rule, Christians were classified as dhimmis, second-class citizens forced to pay a special tax, the jizya, in exchange for their survival. Churches could no longer be built freely, and conversion to Christianity was forbidden. Over the centuries, waves of persecution followed. Forced conversions, massacres, and destruction of churches became a recurring reality for Iraqi Christians. During World War I, the Ottoman Empire, alongside Kurdish militias, launched a genocide against Christian Assyrians, Armenians, and Greeks. Hundreds of thousands were slaughtered, their villages burned, their women and children enslaved. By the time Iraq became an independent nation, Christians were already a shadow of their former numbers. Under Saddam Hussein, Christians were officially tolerated but heavily monitored. They were forced to Arabize their names, and their churches were controlled by the government. Though they lived in relative peace, they were always under threat. In 2003, the U.S. invasion of Iraq created a power vacuum. Islamic militant groups took advantage of the chaos. Christians became immediate targets. Between 2003 and 2014, over 1 million Christians fled Iraq. But the worst was yet to come. In 2014, the Islamic State, ISIS, seized control of Mosul and the Nineveh Plains, home to some of the world's oldest Christian communities. Under ISIS rule, Christians were given 3 choices: convert to Islam, pay an unbearable tax, or be executed. The Arabic letter Nun, short for Nazarene, was painted on Christian houses, marking them for destruction. Over 120,000 Christians were forced to flee overnight. Those who stayed were killed, priests were executed, nuns were raped, crosses were torn down, and ancient churches were turned into mosques or military bases. ISIS was defeated in 2017, but the damage was done. Iraq's Christian population, once 1.5 million, has now dwindled to less than 250,000. Though some Christians have returned, the scars remain. The churches are in ruins, the trust is broken, the future of Christianity in Iraq is uncertain. Many have fled to the West, never to return. Those who remain live under the constant shadow of persecution. Yet, despite centuries of suffering, Christianity in Iraq refuses to die. The faithful gather in secret. They rebuild their churches, their homes, and their lives. They are the survivors of a genocide, the remnants of a faith that has endured for 2,000 years. For centuries, radical Islam has tried to erase Christianity from Iraq. But the faith remains, the light still shines. And though they are few, Iraq's Christians are unshaken. This documentary is dedicated to the Christians of Iraq, past, present, and future. May their faith remain unshaken.